The message arrived in the middle of the Terran morning. It crossed 10 star systems, tore through dark space, and entered Earth's communication network like a sharp blade. Every satellite, every deep space sensor, every military relay caught it at the same time. The Galactic Empire had spoken. The voice in the message was cold and proud. It belonged to an Imperial High Marshal, a man who believed he commanded the strongest fleet in the galaxy. Terran Union, he said, you are ordered to surrender. You will kneel before the Empire. Resistance will lead to your complete destruction. The message repeated 3 times, and then ended with a long, sharp tone. Across Earth, civilians paused. News channels reported the transmission. Some people were confused. Some were scared. But inside the Terran Defense Command, something very different happened. They laughed. It was not a loud laugh, not a dramatic laugh. It was a small, calm, natural laugh, like someone hearing a harmless joke. The admiral sitting at the center of the war table simply leaned back and sighed. So Admiral Raines said, "It is finally our turn." Around him, holograms showed every Imperial ship moving toward the solar system. The Empire had sent a massive force. Hundreds of destroyers, dozens of cruisers, a flagship the size of a moon. The Empire believed this show of power would terrify the Terrans. But inside the command room, no one felt fear. The officers acted like they were starting a normal day. They checked data. They drank coffee. They talked in low voices as if nothing unusual was happening. Even the youngest officer in the room, Lieutenant Hale, had a relaxed smile on his face. He pointed at the Imperial fleet hologram and joked, "They must be bored. Maybe they want attention." Another officer laughed softly. "Poor them. They do not know us." Across the table, Commander Aya Chen ran the numbers with her AI assistant. She scanned the power signatures of the Imperial ships and raised an eyebrow. "Their armor is old," she said. "Their engines are powerful, but unstable. Their formation is outdated. They expect brute force to win." Admiral Raines nodded. "That is how they conquered other worlds. They think everyone breaks when they see their fleet. But humans do not break," Hale said. "We never do," Chen agreed. There was no fear in the room, only a strange calmness. Even the main Terran AI, Athena, sounded amused when she spoke. "Would you like me to send a reply, Admiral?" The AI asked politely. Raines smiled. "Not yet. Let them wait. Let them think we are deciding," Athena hummed. It almost sounded like she was laughing too. Meanwhile, far away in Imperial space, spies were watching every Terran reaction. These spies had monitored countless alien civilizations for the Empire. Most species froze in terror when the Empire announced war. Some tried to flee. Some surrendered immediately. Some begged for mercy. But the Terrans did none of that. One spy sent an urgent private message to his superiors, reporting, "Humans are calm. Some are smiling. They do not look afraid. They do not seem to take the Empire seriously." This message confused the Imperial command structure. "Impossible," the Imperial High Marshal replied. "Every species fears the Empire." The spy sent another message. "Humans are different. They are relaxed. I cannot explain it." The High Marshal ignored the warning. He believed fear was universal. He believed humans were acting brave only on the surface. He believed they would soon beg for mercy. He had never studied human history. Back on Earth, Admiral Raines watched as the Empire's fleet crossed another light year closer. His face stayed calm, almost bored. He had seen countless threats in his career. None ever frightened him. "Time until contact?" Raines asked. 3 days, Athena answered, "unless they increase velocity." "They will," Chen said. "They want to scare us." "They're wasting their time," Raines replied. Around him, the lights dimmed as more data filled the room. Every Terran ship across their colonies received activation orders. Hangar lights switched on. Pilots woke from cryosleep. Engineers prepared reactors. Thousands of humans moved with the same calm energy as their leaders. No shouting, no panic, no stress. This was normal for them. Commander Chen looked at the admiral. Should we warn the civilians on Mars and Europa? Raines shook his head. No need. They will not panic. They have lived through worse. Terran history was full of wars, disasters, invasions, and impossible challenges. Humans were shaped by struggle. Challenge did not break. Them awakened them. Raines turned back to the hologram of the Imperial fleet. He studied how the ships moved. They traveled in a large, tight formation. They believed numbers alone would overpower the Terrans. They had no idea how fast and flexible Terran ships were. Sir Hale said, "Should we prepare our first response strike?" "Not yet," Raines answered. "Let the Empire believe they have the upper hand."
Ow.
Chen smirked. "It will make their shock bigger later." The officers exchanged calm smiles. Even with a massive enemy fleet heading straight at them, humanity remained completely composed. Across the stars, the Empire watched hand for the first time in its long history. It felt something strange. Not fear, not anger, but confusion. Why were the Terrans so calm? Why did they smile when threatened? Why did they act like this was not a war? The Empire could not understand the truth. Humanity enjoyed being tested, and soon, the Empire would learn why. The Galactic Empire arrived sooner than expected. Their ships pushed their engines to the limit, burning bright across the empty dark of space. Each vessel left a long trail of red ion flames, like a storm of fire racing toward the solar system inside the Imperial flagship. High Marshal Drax stood tall with his hands behind his back. His armor shone like molten metal, and his voice carried absolute confidence. "Begin the opening strike," he ordered. "Let the humans understand the Empire's power." His bridge crew obeyed instantly. Dozens of red targeting lines appeared on their screens as the front line of Imperial warships prepared to fire. On the other side of space, the Terran fleet waited. They did not hide. They did not fall back. They simply floated in open formation, relaxed. Almost welcoming the enemy, Terran pilots spoke calmly inside their cockpits. Captain Myra said, "This looks fun," Pilot Jonas replied. "I hope they do not miss on purpose," another added. "Maybe they are trying to impress us." Even their AI co-pilots sounded bored. A THENAS voice came through the fleet-wide channel. "Warning, incoming fire. Please remain calm." I repeat, please remain calm. Their aim is questionable. On the Imperial flagship, the High Marshal smiled confidently. He knew his opening attack was deadly. He expected human screams, panic, chaos. With one gesture of his hand, fired. A volley of red beams ripped across the void. The light stretched for thousands of kilometers, glowing like a burning river in space. Imperial crews celebrated early, believing they would crush the first Terran line in seconds. But nothing went the way they expected. The Terran ships moved. Not fast. Not panicked. Not violently, they moved. Gently. Terran fighters slid aside with smooth curves like dancers gliding across a polished floor. Cruisers tilted with soft motion, avoiding the beams by centimeters. Battleships rotated like planets turning in calm orbit. No rush, no stress. Just easy, natural movement. And then the entire Terran fleet stopped again, perfectly aligned as if nothing happened. The Imperial beams continued through the empty space. Hitting nothing at all, inside the Terran command ship, Admiral Raines watched the enemy attack without blinking. "Is that it?" He asked. Commander Chen checked her display. "Yes, Admiral." They fired with full power. Hale leaned back, impressed. "They missed everything." Raines smirked softly. "They never had a chance of hitting anything. Because human ships were not ordinary ships. They responded faster than thought. Their movement patterns came from centuries of simulations and real wars, and their AI could predict enemy shots before the enemy even fired them. To the Empire, it looked supernatural. To the Terrans, it was routine, far away. The Imperial spy reporting from Terra nearly fainted. Message to Empire Command: human ships. They moved like ghosts. They avoided our opening attack with impossible precision. No damage taken. No panic shown. They look. Amused, the High Marshal grew irritated. Amused. They should be terrified. Back in space, the Terran pilots were not only calm, they were playful. Jonas opened the cum line. Admiral, permission to send a friendly message. Rains raised an eyebrow. What message? Jonas cleared his throat and said in a dramatic, joking tone, You missed. The bridge burst into laughter. Even Athena made a soft electronic giggle. The Empire, listening in on open channels, felt insulted. Human arrogance, one Imperial captain growled. We must teach them respect. Another Imperial volley fired. More beams, more missiles, more fury. And once again, Terran ships moved aside like water flowing around rocks. The enemy's attacks passed. Harmlessly by, not a single Terran shield flickered. Not a single alarm sounded. Not a single human looked afraid. Admiral Rain stood at the center of the command room, hands behind his back, completely relaxed. They are trying very hard, he said. We should give them some attention soon. Chen nodded. Just enough so they understand who they are dealing with, Rain smiled. Not yet. Let them fire one more time. The Empire fired again. This time, everything they had. Beam cannons, plasma bolts, torpedoes. Rail slugs, the full power of their armada light filled the black space. Explosions burned like stars. The Empire roared with confidence. But the Terran fleet danced again, smooth, graceful, effortless. Every Terran ship avoided destruction with perfect timing. Their movements were so precise that it felt like the fleet shared one mind. When the attack ended, humanity had still taken 0 damage, and the Empire finally realized something dangerous. The Terran fleet was not scared. They were studying them, testing them, observing their patterns. High Marshal Drax slammed his fist against the control panel. How are they doing that? His officers trembled. We do not know, sir. Humans were not trembling. Humans were not sweating. Humans were not running. They were calm, amused, confident. Rains finally gave his next order. Open a channel, he said. Athena's hologram bowed. Channel open. The Admiral spoke with a soft, steady voice. Galactic Empire, your attack has been noted. If that was your test, you may try again. His tone was not mocking, not angry. Just calm, certain, unshaken. A tone that made the Empire feel small for the first time in centuries. A cold silence followed. The Empire had challenged humanity, but humanity had only smiled back. Asterisk, the Galactic Empire finally stopped firing, not because they wanted to, but because their weapons were overheating from how many times they had tried and failed to hit the Terran fleet. Inside the Imperial flagship, High Marshal Drax stared at the battlefield in disbelief. The Terran ships stood untouched, floating calmly like silver giants, waiting for something interesting to happen. How can they avoid every hit? He demanded. No one answered. Because no one knew. Some Imperial officers whispered that perhaps humans used forbidden magic. Others believed the Terrans had ancient technology from lost civilizations. A few even feared that humans were not biological at all, that they were some kind of machine species pretending to be flesh. The truth was, simpler, humans were human, and that was enough inside the Terran command ship. Admiral Rains placed his hand on the holographic table. A soft blue light spread across the room. The Terran fleet changed formation instantly, moving into a new pattern known only to elite human commanders. Formation, Ghostnet, Rains said calmly. One word, one command, one silent shift. Terran ships slid across the dark void like pieces on a perfect chessboard. Their positions looked random to the Empire. Every Terran captain knew exactly why they were moving. Athena announced. Formation complete. Probability of enemy understanding? Less than 1%. Commander Chen smirked. Good. Let them wonder. On the Imperial flagship, Drax watched the Terran movement with frustration. What formation is that? Why did they reposition? An Imperial analyst squinted at his screen. It looks unstructured, sir. Maybe they are retreating? Drax shook his head. No, they are planning something. Humans always plan. He was right. He just did not understand the plan. Back on the Terran bridge, Rains finally gave the order the Empire feared without knowing it. Target the Empire's fire control ships, he said softly. Hale blinked. Only their fire control? Rains nodded. Yes, break their eyes. Break their mind. You want to humble them? Chen whispered with a smile. Rains did not deny it. Send the signal. Voice became cold, precise, focused. Signal sent. The Terran fleet reacted instantly. Every ship shifted from passive motion to active attack mode. Their weapons charged silently, no glow, no dramatic sound, no build-up. Human technology did not need to scream to show its strength. Terran beams fired, but they were nothing like the Empire's beams. They were thin, silent, bright as stars for a single moment. Then they vanished. No recoil, no explosion, just clean, perfect precision. Across the battlefield, 6 Imperial fire control ships exploded in silence. Not huge fireballs, not dramatic flames, just smooth destruction as their systems collapsed and their hulls split apart. The Empire was stunned. What? What was that? An Imperial captain shouted. Our targeting ships are gone. Gone, how? Rains watched calmly as the Empire struggled to regain order. Do not hit their shields, he said. Do not target their main ships. Only weaken their structure, Chen nodded. We will break their confidence, not their fleet. Rains looked pleased. Exactly. The Empire tried to strike back, but something was wrong. Their weapons did not fire. Their targeting screens glitched. Their formation fell apart, without fire control ships. Their entire fleet went blind. Inside the flagship, Drax grabbed the armrest tightly. How did they disable only the support ships? That level of accuracy should be impossible. The intelligence officer spoke quietly, sir. Terran beams move faster than any Imperial sensor can track. Drax froze. He had spent his entire life believing the Empire had the strongest ships in the galaxy. That belief was now cracking. Meanwhile, the Terran pilots enjoyed the show. Jonas laughed inside his cockpit. Look at them. They are confused. Captain Mira replied, they thought we were running. Now they cannot even aim, another pilot said. Poor guys. Should we send them a guide on how to fight? Even Athena joined with a sarcastic tone, recommended, the Empire should update their software. Perhaps something from this century. Pilots burst into laughter. But then Admiral Rains gave a quiet signal and everything changed. Terran fleet, he said. Prepare Phase 2. Chen's eyes brightened. Finally, the phase was simple. Reveal a fraction of Terran power. Just enough to make the Empire understand. The Terran ships accelerated. Not slowly. Not smoothly. But instantly, from a standstill, they jumped forward with such force that the stars behind them blurred. The Empire had never seen movement like this. Human engines did not roar, they whispered. They left no flames. They left faint blue rings that faded instantly into the dark. The Terran fleet surrounded the Empire's vanguard without firing a single extra shot. Drax stared in horror. They are behind us. But we never saw them move. His officers looked pale. Sir, they outran every Imperial tracker. It is as if they... Drax swallowed hard. No. They are simply faster than anything we have. The Empire's pride cracked deeper. Then the Terran spoke again. Rains opened a calm broadcast. Galactic Empire.
8.
He said softly. You began this test. Now you have seen only the first lesson. Silence filled both fleets. Rains continued. If you want to understand humanity, you must stop looking at us as prey. His voice remained gentle, but something powerful echoed behind it. We are not prey. Every human pilot whispered the next words along with him. We are the storm. The Empire finally felt something it had never felt before. Fear, real fear, because the Terran fleet had shown only a small piece of its strength. and even that was more than the Empire ever imagined. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire fell completely silent. Their ships, once proud and glowing with red energy, now floated in confusion. Their formations were broken. Their vanguard was surrounded. Their scanners showed nothing but static. Every Imperial captain felt the same chilling truth. They had lost control of the battlefield, inside the Imperial flagship. High Marshal Drax stood frozen in place. His jaw was tight. His hands shook slightly, something he had not experienced since childhood. How did they move like that? He whispered. No one dared answer. Every Imperial officer stared at the holographic display of the Terran fleet. The human ships glowed with a calm blue light, arranged in a perfect formation that made no sense, and yet felt overwhelmingly dangerous. One. Ow. Imperial commander finally spoke. Sir, if we attack again, they will destroy us. Drax did not respond. He simply stared at the humans who had turned his proud army into helpless observers. Meanwhile, aboard the Terran command ship, Admiral Rains stood at the center of the bridge with quiet confidence. Status? He asked. Commander Chen checked her display. Empire fleet's morale is collapsing. Their shots are unstable. Many of their crews are afraid to fire again, Hull added with a small smile. They must be regretting that message they sent. They should. The Terran officers were calm, but they were not cruel. They understood that fear was a powerful enemy, even stronger than weapons. We should end this cleanly, Rains said. No more humiliation. No unnecessary destruction, Chen agreed. Show strength, but not cruelty. Atina's hologram flickered softly. Shall I prepare the final message, Admiral? Rains paused, thinking carefully. Then he gave a single nod. Yes, it is time they understand. Across the battlefield, every Imperial ship suddenly received a communication signal. The Terran fleet was sending a message. Drax stood straighter. Put it on screen. The lights dimmed. A blue hologram appeared. Admiral Rains' calm face came into view. There was no anger in his expression, no pride, no mockery, only a steady, controlled calmness that made the Empire feel small. Galactic Empire. Rains began, his voice even and gentle. You came to test humanity. Every Imperial officer leaned closer, listening. You came with threats. You came with force. You believed we would kneel or run or beg. He paused. The silence made the Empire shiver. But humans do not kneel, he continued. We rise. Chen folded her arms as she watched the reaction across the screen. Athena monitored every Imperial heartbeat. Rains spoke again, softer this time. You attacked us with everything you had, and we did not break. On the Imperial flagship, Drax felt that sentence hit him like a heavy weight. Rains continued. We showed restraint. We did not target your capital ships. We did not aim to kill your crews. We only answered your challenge. Then, for the first time in the entire conflict, Admiral Rains allowed a small, cold smile to appear. Now the test is over. The Terran fleet shifted formation again, but not to attack. This time, the ships moved outward, forming a wide circle around the Empire's armada. A protective circle. Not trapping them, not threatening them, just surrounding them. Athena broadcasted another message. Terran fleet has locked all Imperial weapons. They cannot fire without our systems disabling the attack. The Empire panicked. They can control our weapons. This is impossible. But it was true. Humanity in that moment held complete power over the Empire's armada. Rain spoke over the shock. You wanted to measure our strength? Now you have seen a fraction of it. We will not show more unless forced, Chen added quietly. This is mercy, not weakness. Then Rains gave his final order. It was not a violent one. It was not a command to attack. It was simply, release them. The Terran ships opened space around the Empire's fleet, creating a clear path for them to retreat. Athena sent one final signal that played across every Imperial ship. Your exit corridor is open. Leave now. And remember this moment. The Empire did not argue. They turned their ships away, slowly, silently, humiliated but alive. Drax watched the Terran fleet grow smaller as the Empire retreated. A deep fear sat inside his chest, fear of a species he once called weak. He finally whispered the truth his officers had avoided saying. "We were wrong about humanity," his second-in-command replied quietly. "Humans. They smiled as we fired. They smiled as we threatened them." "Why, sir?" Drax exhaled shakily. "Because they knew something we did not." He looked out at the emptying battlefield. They knew we never stood a chance. Far behind them. The Terran fleet held position for a moment longer. Pilots relaxed in their seats. Engineers powered down weapons. Commanders exchanged soft smiles. Humanity had been tested. Humanity had been challenged. Humanity had answered. Not with fear. Not with anger. Not with chaos, but with calm strength. Rain stood with his hands behind his back, watching the Empire fade into the distance. "They will not return soon," Chen said. "No," Rains agreed. "And when they do, they will think twice before calling humans weak." Hale asked, "Should we send a closing message?" Rains nodded. "Athena," he said, "send it." The AI transmitted humanity's last message into the stars. "Next time you test us, be ready for the real test." Warning. A promise. A truth. The Empire received it. And for the first time in its long history, it listened.